Welcome. My name is John Clark. I'm the co-director at Brooke Charter Schools, and we're really excited to have you all here this morning. Brooke's mission is to prepare our kids to succeed in college. So when a couple of years ago we got the opportunity to open this high school, we were ecstatic. Since that time, we've had that high school in a couple of makeshift temporary spaces. So you can understand we are just incredibly thankful to be in this beautiful building. And we'll do everything we can to kind of wear it out with all the teaching and learning it can withstand in the years to come. So many of you who are in this room made this building possible. And so I want to kick things off just by expressing our gratitude to so many of you directly. Start by saying thank you to the speakers that we're going to have up on the stage today. We have Representative Holmes, who I'll be able to introduce in a moment. City Council President Andrea Campbell, whose district we sit in, and who's been a huge supporter. Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth, Jim Peyser, also been a huge Brooke supporter. The governor could not be here today, but he sent a video message, which we'll get to glimpse in a little bit, and we appreciate that a ton. We expect Mayor Walsh shortly, and he will come up and join these other officials up here on stage. We have a couple of other, well, we're also going to have Dylene Morfra, a junior at Brooke High, who's going to speak to you in a little bit, and we're going to close out with the Brooke High step team here as well this morning. A few other state officials, just want to recognize Senator Nick Collins is not here, will be here. Carol Gladstone, Commissioner of DCAM, Peter Forbes, Commissioner of DYS for the Commonwealth, Ron Dorsey, Education Czar, what's your title? No, Education Czar for the city? Okay. And then next I want to thank our donors. So we would not be in this space if it weren't for our donors, like flat out. There are far too many to mention all by name, but we have the list kind of behind us up here on the stage. Wanted to specifically shout out Scott Aran, our board chair, and our board of directors. Our campaign, we're calling them our campaign catalysts, but really leaders on this campaign with incredibly generous, strong contributions. And those are the Smith Family Foundation. And I understand in addition to Lynn Doblin, we have Deb Kinez and Dana Smith, a couple of trustees of the Smith Family Foundation who are here. The Klarman Family Foundation, and both the 1-8 Foundation and Strategic Grant Partners, who Joanna and John Jacobson are here to represent this morning as well. Thanks to all of those generous contributions, we have raised $8 million already in equity toward the building, have $3 million to go. We are incredibly, incredibly thankful and grateful to all of you. We call them project partners, but let's be real, these are the people who built the building. So we have Arrow Street, who is here, who not only designed the building that we renovated next door, also renovated this one as well. Their entire team, Larry Spang and his entire team, Jonathan Garland, who is here as well, who the governor happened to have met and will shout out in his video, but Jonathan said, make sure everybody knows this was a team, that I was part of a great Arrow Street team that built this building. We have a representative of Consigli who are here today. I can sum it up, Consigli up by saying on time and under budget. So we're incredibly thankful for Consigli. We've got Evan Warner and the guys from STV who are here for our project manager. Q Row Development, who managed the project on the school side, is here. So all of these are the people that actually built the building. And just add on to a couple of those from our own Brooke team as well. We've got Corey Yarborough, who's the director of operations for this entire campus. He not only helped with the design, but the execution to make us actually get in here and be ready to use the space was amazing. Mark Loring as well, and Yvette Phillip, our director of finance, who made all of the numbers happen and work. And they just worked really, really hard to put us here. So thank you to all of them. We have some former board members here today in Jill Reynolds and Hillary Berkman, Our former board chair, Ted Preston, who is battling cancer, could not make it this morning, but want to send him lots of love and great wishes. We have current board members here this morning, and Scott Oran, our board chair, also Davida McConnell, Mary Boak, and Tom O'Rourke are all here. You guys have, what I'll say first and foremost about our board is the fiscal stewardship to put us in the position to be able to buy a building like this and to put us in an operating position to sustain it and put all of our resources towards program for the years to come. I want to recognize our partners at Lena Park. So we have our board chair, David Wright of Lena Park is here, along with their executive director, Catherine Martinez. They are an anchor in this community, our partners next door, and allow us to use that space to fully serve this community. And we're so excited about the asset that all of this space represents to help them serve our community even better. So big shout out to them. And members of the Citizens Advisory Committee. So for those of you who don't know, we are located on the big former Boston State Hospital site, and many years ago, the Citizens Advisory Committee was seen to kind of oversee the development of that property and make sure it was done well. And they definitely make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's and are doing what's right for the community. We have several of them here today. Beverly Johnson, who manages the Citizens Advisory Committee, Mary Burks, Joyce Carroll, Glenola Mitchell, Donna Young, and I believe we have one or two others who are here as well. Thank you, Mr. Dingle. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, all of you guys. And then finally, before I introduce Russell Holmes, Representative Russell Holmes, I want to say also, and this is just so important to us that you guys are here. Several close friends and acquaintances of Senator Brooke himself who are here today. So we have a few gentlemen from Alpha Phi Alpha whose membership meant so much to Senator Brooke. We also have Tony Wood, Sally Willis, Carol Connolly, Vivian Beard, all of whom worked closely with Senator Brooke, who was very dear to all of them, and Mr. Melvin Miller, editor of the Bay State Banner and longtime friend of Senator Brooke. It means so much that you guys are here today. We will never, ever forget kind of the honor and the privilege it is to be associated with Senator Brooke's name. And also, while I'm recognizing you guys, want to also send our love and best wishes to Ralph Neese, who was legislative aide for many, many years to Senator Brooke, who is sick and needs all of our love and positive energy. And so thank you all for being here. It means a lot to us. So now it's my distinct privilege to be able to introduce our first speaker, Representative Russell Holmes, whose district this building now sits in. I'll say the older I get personally, the more I come to appreciate people who are direct and candid and to the point and tell you how it is. And that is Rep. Holmes, for those of you who know it. For those of you who know my wife, you know I'm not lying when I say that. I appreciate that very much. But it's not just his candor, it's his can-do-itness. So he was very early on when we told him that we thought about building this building here. And I also want to recognize Mayor Walsh just entered the room. Thank you, Mayor Walsh, for being here. Let's give it up for Mayor Walsh. It means a lot that you're here. Thank you, Mayor Walsh. Representative Holmes, when we first told him we wanted to put this building here, he said, I want that building here. It would mean a lot to this space and to this community. And we asked him, like, will you write a letter of support for the BPDA? Would you write a letter of support for the Zoning Board of Appeals? He said, yeah, here's your letter, and I'm going to be at the hearing. And he was, every single one. We had a tough time getting Verizon to move a phone line on this property. One call to Representative Holmes, boom. And that was like that over and over again. He was just a huge, huge supporter of the school in this project, and he gets things done. I have so much respect and appreciation for this man, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce him. So join me in giving it up for
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. I, too, want to begin with just saying something very simple. When John says to me I do those things, it's because I'm supposed to do them. I believe that. But more than that, I think because you have earned it. I'm not just giving you things just out of the kindness of my heart. It is the dedication that you, the staff, all the folks who believe in our children for years and years have said that the folks in this neighborhood can perform equally or better as every neighborhood in this Commonwealth. You have done that, and that is why I'm telling you, you have earned whatever I do for you. It is not just a gift. And so thank you, John. Thank you to the entire Brooke team. I want to just begin by saying there are so many other folks. John did recognize an awful lot of people, but to pull this off, obviously, there were some other folks that I wanted to make sure I recognize. Of course, the mayor, the city council president, and the secretary. But Rob Lewis has also been just a champion for all the work for focusing on inner city kids and making sure that not only do we think about the activities that they do, but to make sure that they get their books together, because in the end, most of us are not going to be pro anything, and making sure that we can still deliver in the classroom is most important. So I wanted to recognize Rob Lewis, who is here with us today as well. Wanted to recognize also, I know John recognized the CAC already, but when you look at this site and where this site was 30 years ago, 25 years ago, and we start building on this site, the CAC members have been dedicated for more than 30 years. And so when pieces start coming together, and so when Olmsted Green first started getting built, that's the neighborhood group that's right beside us. When they first started getting built, they felt like, hey, you all have put us out here and there's nobody else over here. Literally, who else is going to come out here? And so when Lena had his challenges and Brooke stepped up and said, is that my 3-minute signal already? Well, I got like 5 notices. Rep Holmes, you talk too long, basically. You need to make sure you're fast. She told me that again as I walked up here. But I'm going to just simply say to you that when the neighborhood groups came, they felt like, who else is out here? What else is going to happen? As you know, the 14 bus, or you may not know, the 14 bus which travels here in front of the school doesn't travel often. And so when they came, they said, Rep Holmes, what are you going to do about the buses here? And then it made it so that the neighborhood group said, get the 21 and 31 running much more. So we cut down trees, put in sidewalks, things of that nature. The neighborhood groups on the other side said, hey, we can't get from Morton Street to American Legion Highway. How do we make this happen? And I'm going to just give a shout out to DYS, to essentially every single adjacent owner or property to this building. We needed to cut a pathway, and Hagar and the team says, hey, we want to cut a pathway just through the neighborhood to get our students over to the backside of this neighborhood. We said, no, we want to do much more than that. And we got to a place where the DYS folks, where Olmsted 1 and 2 and Landscape Express and others, when you walk out of here, I know it's not part of your visit today, but it used to be just nothing but trash, debris, and woods in an area that you could not walk from this school over to Harvard Street or over to Blue Avenue, which is just a natural place for people to walk. We had Hearst Landscaping and others come through and cut out this whole site. We had folks put in chippings to make sure that students can walk and get from that side of this community to this side easily. And so I want to just give a shout out to everyone who was a part of that project. They got tired of my emails, but I'm telling you it was worth it because it was important. Also, I want to give a shout out to Mel Miller for having his 50th, or the banner's 50th anniversary on Sunday. The banner has been a mainstay in the communities of color for 50 years. He and his effort and his team need to be celebrated. And I don't know if everyone's invited, but certainly it's at BU at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So I don't know, he probably paid, he can probably afford it, he'll be all right. So you should come, because of course that is important. So now to on Consigli. When John talked about Consigli and being there for the question around Consigli, again, you earned it. Consigli and Darren showed up in every CAC meeting. They came and reported how is the building going, how is the performance for workforce, meaning for us that means how many people of color on this project, how many women, how many folks are coming from local areas. And so that is why when Darren would call me, I would be very, very responsive and do it. So my remarks. Commissioner Gladstone, thank you. So why is this building important to me? About 6 years ago or so, the former mayor, we had a process that we were going to go through this process of how we're going to do school assignments. And when we went through that process, it was thought of initially going to be 9 and then 6, and then we eventually ended up with 3. And the elected of color, we get together every 2 weeks. And at the time, we said, this is not good for our communities. This is not good because it's going to limit the amount of public schools we're talking about, the amount of choices that we have. And so we literally got into the mayor's office at the time, and we put in my address, 80 Goodale Road, Mattapan. And we looked to see how many, level 1 being the best schools you can have, level 5 being the worst, how many level 1 schools are in my district, in what we call my walk zone. Not a single one. Not a single one. There was one level 2 school, and everything else was a 3 and 4. And so I got an awful lot of pushback from people saying, well, why is it that I'm so angry about this? And I'm saying, my job is to fight for the constituents of my district. And I don't try my best to sit around and divide charter, Metco, public, private, parochial. I have to fight for everyone equally. And every parent, if they live next door to me, will put their address in this system and come up with those bad choices for what they had. And so at the time I said, well, they said, well, we're going to add in just 2 more level 1 schools to make sure everyone has a basket, have those in their basket of choices. I said, well, what about the neighborhoods that have 3, 4, 5 of these level 1 schools? Limit theirs to just 2. That was my idea, but of course I don't represent those neighborhoods, so that didn't go over well in those neighborhoods. And so I tell you that to say it was an easy choice to then say, bring me a level 1 school that's already been performing as Brooke has been doing, and that's why I'm so adamant about bringing this here. I'm also sorry I have to do it again. Lena Park, David, the entire team, the way you guys have worked to make that, she's even moving on me now. The way you've been as a partnership has been fantastic. I appreciate you very, very much. The other part of the story I want to say is that when I walked in here, I'm going to leave. I walked in here, when I walked in from the front door, there's a quote from Mr. Brooke that says, you can be anywhere you want to be. I may have that quote a little wrong, but it goes something of that nature. You can be anywhere you want to be. Where we want you to be in this school, students, is where you are now, and that is the highest performing students in the Commonwealth. The highest. And so when I show up at the State House, and I can say that my students perform when you give them the resources, when you give them a building that is comparable to the resources and to what they're doing in here for education, this is vitally important. So my statement is just finally to the students, you make my job easy. You make my job easy by performing. And you will now, as you matriculate through, I heard some of you from 10th grade, some of you asked me what's my favorite year. I told you my senior year was my favorite year because I was the boss at school. But as you matriculate and you start to set a pattern, that's a pattern, just think about it, that will happen for decades. You will set a pattern of being number 1 in the state that all the folks who follow behind you will then say, this is what we should do as well. Just think about that. What a way to really honor the legacy of Mr. Brooke. What a way to think about all of his efforts and all the things that he did, so that then for decades to come, this school, this neighborhood, can be an anchor that says that we believe education is number 1, and we believe that we will continue to deliver the number 1 students in the Commonwealth. My job next is to introduce my good friend. Oh.
So you can introduce our student, and I'll say your name.
All right, yes. I thought I had a different job. John has given me one. I follow instructions, so John is going to introduce our student who's going to do the first presentation. Thank you guys for listening.
Darlene Morfa, Brooke High Jr. Give it up for Darlene.
Good morning. My name is Darlene Morfa, and I am a junior here at Brooke High School. I have been with Brooke since the 5th grade, and it has honestly been a life-changing experience. Being at Brooke has taught me so much, not only academically, but also how to prepare and be ready for my future. I will be a first-generation college student alongside my sister, who has just started at UMass Boston. I live in the neighborhood right down the street, meaning I can attend school no matter the circumstance. My mom first heard of Brooke from my neighbors. She chose the school because she wanted me to develop better habits, not only as a scholar, but also for myself. At first, it was really hard adjusting to Brooke because teachers expected me to be more dedicated at school and at home. But over time, with help from my teachers, encouraging me to do better every day, I was able to become more independent as a student. Now, I feel like nothing's stopping me from reaching my goals. I love math and history, and I'm part of the volleyball team. I am part of the basketball team as well, and I'm also a part of the STEP team. When I leave Brooke, the goal has always been to become a lawyer, more specifically, a criminal defense attorney. Being able to first see the Brooke Mattapan building once it was done and now the high school, it has been an amazing opportunity to be one of the first students to join both the high school and the middle school. This experience is not only beneficial to me, but also to my brothers who are right over at Brooke Mattapan. Before we had this beautiful building, we moved around a lot, but something that stayed consistent was the community that we built within. I want to thank the mayor, all the government officials, generous supporters, and Brooke staff for making this possible. I hope you enjoy our new building. Thank you all for being here. Now it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome up Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you, Darlene, and that was awesome. Thank you, and I love your vision for the future. Get to college and defense attorney. Some advice, go into corporate law, you'll be all right, you'll make a lot more money. I'm watching this stuff going on around me, but I want to congratulate you and to all the students here. This building's amazing. I've been watching it go up, I've been watching it be built, and then I walked into the auditorium here today, and I just think about how amazing it is and the opportunity to learn in a really 21st century school. And as Representative Holmes was talking about, this is a 21st century school, so congratulations to all of you. To John and Kimberly and everyone here at the school and the Brooke Network, congratulations and thank you. To the Secretary Peyser, thank you for being with us today, and the President of the City Council, Councilor Campbell, President Campbell, thank you, and Russell as well for your advocacy at the State House. To Ron Dorsey's here, Chief of Education for the City of Boston. Thank you, Ron. There are charter school leaders from other schools here. Thank you for being here today. To the parents, any parents that are here, congratulations on this school. To the Board of Trustees, thank you for your commitment to this school and this network of schools. To the funders in the room today, thank you for your investment in this school. This is incredible. I think when you think about this is a 21st century school, as we, clearly designed for success. And as the representative said, it's important for us to, I don't care how our kids get educated, as long as our kids get on a pathway to success. As long as young people are headed to college or a career, but college, and getting successful in that college. We shouldn't be battling about public schools, because charter schools are public schools. We shouldn't be fighting with parochial schools and private schools. All the schools should be competing with each other in a healthy competition for the young people of our city, but also creating opportunities, good opportunities, strong opportunities for our young people. And that's the reason why we created the Chief of Education position in the City of Boston, so that we don't have to get into those battles and those fights. And that's what's really important here. In this school, science. You read the newspaper and you pick it up and you see of all the companies coming to our city. Most of those companies, a lot of those companies, you need science. You need to be able to understand. Computer labs, robotic labs. We're leading the country in robotics in Massachusetts, and in Boston, Massachusetts in particular. We're leading the country in STEM, as far as STEM jobs. We also have opportunities in this with a gym, a first-class gym, art and dance, another important economy for our future, to give young people the experience to be able to express themselves and be able to do something that's outside the box and think differently. Education's changing today. Music studios. We know in Boston that many of the great music artists in the history of this country started in Roxbury and Dorchester and Hyde Park and the neighborhoods of our city and in different parts of our city. And exposing young people to that is important. Every single young person in our city deserves a world-class education. And that's what they get right here at this school. This school is a history of providing an unbelievable opportunity for our young people. And we need to continue to be supportive, not just of this school, but of the entire network of schools that we have in our city so we can move forward. Robert Lewis was shouted out a minute ago, and Robert Lewis runs a program called The Base. And what The Base does is get young people into baseball and sports. But what's really it's about is academics and getting young people the opportunity. And when you go into his program or you go to a graduation that he has or a celebration he has, he can point to his kids and say, that kid went to college here, he went to college here, she went to college here, they went to college here. It's an opportunity, that support network that our young people need sometimes to move them forward. Our students have different needs, and if we talk to our young people, they'll tell us. They'll tell us that they do have different needs, and there's opportunities in this particular school, and this idea of all the needs and all the desires that you have and they have are right here. Since 2002, the Brooke schools have been in Rosendale, East Boston, and in Mattapan have thrived. We see the banners up on the wall. We see those opportunities. The teaching is strong. The culture is focused. The students have excelled. And now we have an eighth grade and high school facility to match and raise these high standards. And that's something that's really important. This school is preparing dynamic, diverse leaders to lead our country, and we need it right now. I just whispered in Andrea Campbell's ear, I said, you know, it seems like right now the world seems to be upside down a little bit. And I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking in general. The young people that are in school right now, you are the leaders of the future. The opportunities that are put in front of you, and many people in this room have presented these young people with the opportunity to learn in an incredible environment. I want to thank you from that. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. Because the future of our city and the future of our state and the future of our country are the young people that are going to walk through the front door of the school every single day and go home. So I want to thank you for being here today. I want to congratulate all of you. And John, congratulations on an incredible, incredible accomplishment.
My privilege to introduce City Councilor and City Council President, Ms. Andrea Campbell.
Good morning. Okay, this is a celebration. Yes, it may be a little dark in the world, but good morning. I don't know about you, but I have goosebumps since walking into this space, into this auditorium. This is a special moment. It's not packed in here today, but it will be. So this is a celebration. So let's try that again for the students. Good morning. Good morning. And like has been previously said, I'm Andrea Campbell. I am the Boston City Council President, but I'm also the District 4 Boston City Councilor. So I represent Mattapan. You're in my district, D4, Dorchester, as well as Jamaica Plain and Rosendale. And Alexander and I live in Mattapan, and we love Mattapan. But I want to sort of echo the thank yous. I want to thank the leadership, Kimberly and John, for your hard work, the long hours, the board and past board members, and Scott, board chair, who I know well. I want to thank the teachers. I want to thank the parents. If there are any parents in here, can we give them a round of applause? They often don't get thanked. I also want to thank the students, and there's some here, and I want to thank, in addition to the students, the community. This was a grassroots community effort and is a great example of collaboration. And we often don't necessarily celebrate community, particularly Mattapan and the community in Mattapan that shows up every single day to do the work. If you look at the media, you would think Mattapan is violence and just an awful place to be. This is a great example to demonstrate it is the exact opposite of that. So I would love to give the community a big round of applause and celebrate them. And as someone who attended all Boston public schools, including Boston Latin School, I know the value of education. I grew up in the city of Boston, Roxbury in the South End. We were extremely poor, a lot of hardship, but I know the value of a quality education and what it does, not just for the student, but for the family, but also the community those students come from. It's an opportunity for those students to go off into the world and to realize their dreams. And dreams they may not even have had when they left high school. To go out into the world and see something that is possible for them and know they can do it. So this place that we're in is not just a high school. It's more than a high school. This is a facility that is a place where students and families can dream, can think big, can see the possibilities for themselves. It is, and I say this all the time, it is a beacon of high expectations, regardless of the circumstances our students come from. And guess what? We're not going to eradicate poverty overnight. We're not going to close the achievement gap overnight. And these students have to go back into places where there are incidents of violence, where there are tough things they're dealing with, but they wake up every single day to come into a place like this where they're held to high expectations. And those expectations are not diminished based on where they come from. We need to applaud that because that does not happen in every single space, and this is why I love the Brooke School. So yes, applaud the Brooke for that. And I said this earlier, it's a testament to community power and community collaboration, and folks coming together from the private sector, from the philanthropy, individuals, families coming together to support this vision. And together, all of you built this incredible place. So take it in. Before you leave here, take it in. Alexander and I are happy. I don't know if he'll come to the Brook, but now it's a possibility for him. He may go to Latin school, I don't know. But we have work to do, and yes, we have much work to do in the city of Boston, including getting rid of this idea of fights, charter schools versus public parochial. No, I'm done with that. We have work to do to ensure that every single student who lives in the city of Boston has a quality education, gets a quality education, and has a place they go to deliver that education to them as well as their family. But until we get that done, let's celebrate this. Let's celebrate this incredible moment. And thank you to the team that coordinated all of our schedules to make this happen. And it is my honor to introduce the Commonwealth Secretary of Education, James Peyser. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate that. It's great to be here on behalf of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito. It's great to, obviously, to celebrate this amazing and beautiful building, but also to see so many friends and colleagues and people who are real heroes to me and inspirations, not least of which being John and Kimberly. So congratulations to everyone who's been part of this process. I was, though, John, a little disappointed to hear that you're $3 million short of your fundraising goal. So this is going to be a pop-up fundraiser. $3 million for lunch with Representative Russell Holmes. Start the bidding at $2.5 million. Mayor, $2 million? Okay, all right. Well, we'll deal with that later. So obviously it's a great building, and this space is unbelievable. And it was a real surprise. I had no idea this auditorium would be here. It's not just about architecture, obviously. It's about ensuring that every Brooke student has every opportunity to exceed. Not just now, not just for the students who are in this building now, who will be coming in the next few years, but for generations to come. The building is also, I think, importantly, a symbol of the amazing success that Brooke has had over the years. It is now widely recognized as one of the best urban public schools in America. Although I think I should amend that. This is one of the best public schools in America. And I think that is something that all of you who are stakeholders in this school, all of you who are part of this incredible experiment and this incredible, really, adventure should really be proud of. As I said, and as so many have said, this really is a beautiful building. But as we all know, beauty is only skin deep. And what really matters, what's really beautiful, is what goes on inside this building every day. And in particular, it's the deep commitment to excellence, the love of learning, the dedication to developing and supporting educators, and the passion that those educators have for the subjects that they teach. Now, of course, this culture doesn't come out of nowhere. In fact, it really does come from the remarkable leaders, both John and Kimberly, who have shaped this school and who have led it so diligently and persistently and well over so many years. I I got a glimpse recently of that passion for their work and for their students and for the learning that goes on in this building and in the others that are part of the Brooke network. Just a few months ago, when we were in the process of revising the mathematics curriculum frameworks. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the mathematics curriculum frameworks. This was a scintillating process. It was about as geeky as it can possibly get. So naturally, I called Brooke, and in particular, I called John, because when I first met John many years ago, he was a math teacher at South Boston Harbor Academy, and I should probably say a renowned math teacher at South Boston Harbor Academy. I'd actually seen John give a presentation at a symposium at Harvard about math instruction. I was very impressed. So I called him up and I figured, okay, well, let me get some advice from John. And much to my surprise, John said, well, you know what, I know something about math, but you really ought to talk to Kimberly. And it turns out Kimberly is a wicked math nerd. And I thought she was all about literature and English, and no, it's all about the math. And here's the proof. I want to read to you an excerpt from an email that Kimberly sent me during this process. And Kimberly, just so you know, and this is true for anyone, including folks over here who know this well, if you send me an email, it's a public record. So this is not like I'm betraying a secret. The public has a right to know. So here it is. It says, okay, I am super cheesy in my love for math. Cheesy, I'm not sure I even know what that means in this context, but you'll get it later. But I think the point of understanding relationships between concepts is mostly to teach students logical thinking and ideally that math is beautiful. Teachers must appreciate the beauty of math, narrate the beauty of math, and create contexts for students to recognize and share this beauty. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to cry. I never thought I'd say that about math, but it's true. But this is the essence, really, I think, of what Brooke stands for. And it's why Brooke is so successful. It's about a real passion. It's about a real depth of understanding, and not just about the specific content, but about its deeper meaning and purpose in the lives of the children that go here. So a lot of people look at the great MCAS results that Brooke has had over the years, and they sort of assume, well, this must be all about test prep and you drill and kill, and it's just a sort of a test-obsessed place. But the reality is nothing could be further from the truth. Brooke succeeds because its teachers and students appreciate the beauty of learning. And now they've got a building that matches and is worthy of their accomplishments. So thank you all very much. Congratulations. And now it's my pleasure, if the technology will work, to introduce my boss, Governor Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, this is Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, and boy, I really wish I could be with you tonight. Unfortunately, I'm out of town, and I did meet Jonathan Garland the other night when I was in Savin Hill in Dorchester, and he told me that he was the architect on the high school. I said, I love Brooke. I think you folks do amazing work, and I'm so proud to have you as part of our community here in Massachusetts. And he said, we're having this event on later in the week, and I said, geez, I can't go. I said, what about if I make a video? And he said, that would be great. So first of all, I'm really grateful that you're giving me this opportunity, and I want to thank, by the way, Mayor Walsh for all of his support for Brooke's efforts, and I also want to thank Secretary Peyser, who's also there. But the people I really want to thank are John Clark and all the folks who are part of that Brooke family, the parents of all of the kids who go to Brooke, and the students themselves. You are, in many respects, what the American dream is supposed to be all about. You are what excellence is supposed to be all about. And you are a true gem in the crown jewel of education in Boston and here in the Commonwealth of Mass. I am very excited for you. I'm very excited not just for the kids who are going to go through that school over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, but the kids who are going to go through there for the next 15, 20, 25 years. You are going to force everybody to raise their game. and that's a really great thing. And as I said, I wish I could be there tonight, but I got to tell you, Jonathan, I'm so glad I ran into you. So give me this opportunity to tell you all how grateful I am for all you do for kids here in the Commonwealth of Mass. Have a great night.
All right, moving on to the ceremonial cutting of the ribbon. So in addition to those who are up here, I want to invite a few more to come up and join us. Scott Oran, our board chair, please come up. John and Joanna Jacobson, representing both the 1-8 Foundation and Strategic Grant Partners, our biggest supporters. Thank you guys, please come up. And to represent the school, you know, there was a lot that was said just now about what makes Brooke great. It's our people. It's getting great people and helping them develop and become all they can be. We have some great people to welcome up to represent the school. We have Danielle Blair, who's the principal of the 8th grade academy. We often call this the high school building. We have a complete 8th grade academy with its own principal that's on the top floor. We also have Katie Megrian, who is the high school principal. Corey Yarborough, who is the director of operations of this entire campus, and Kimberly Stedman, my co-director as well. Part of this morning. I'd like to have everybody help me, please, give you a big, warm welcome to the Brooke High Stepper.